Hi, this is Noah from Endler Arc. Today we're going to discuss, in our series on the history of Endlers, we're going to discuss some of the behavioral differences that you'll see between Endlers and Guppies, and a little bit even between Campona Endlers and Kumina Endlers. Probably the biggest thing is mating. So most of you have had guppies, and guppies work on visual stimulus. So guppies will, 5 or 6 guppies will follow a female around. They will just hassle her until she's exhausted, and eventually they will breed her. Well, as we talked about in earlier episodes, the lagoon that Endlers developed in turned pea green very, very early on, and this no longer was a way that they could have babies. It wasn't a way that they could really work. It's amazing what happened, because in that pea green water, the females could only see things that the sun hit and reflected. So the males developed all their bright colors. They used their bodies to get in front of the females when they could and allow the sun to hit them. They would do a dance, and the purpose of that dance is to let the sun hit them in different areas so that the female can see them. And strangely enough, female Endlers have more of a say in their mate than guppies do. Female Endlers will actually accept a male. Female guppies generally don't want to accept. They want to run and hide and everything. Even further was the fact that the Kumina Endlers, being polymorphic, they change all the time. And one of the things that the field people noticed, they'd go to an area and they would get all red and black fish. They would go there 2 years later and they'd get all lime colored fish or blue fish or yellow fish. It baffled them because it wasn't new species. It was just what happens when you take a pond or an area of Endlers. Let's say they're all black bars and you put a lime in there. When you come back, the females are all going to have bred with the lime, and that's kind of how it works. And it does make for a lot of fluctuation, but to me it's one of the great things that Endlers give as a nanofish. Unbelievable colors. You could take a mix of all the different kinds, put them together, and you'll keep getting those and other ones. And it's amazing, and it's never been pushed. In the United States, we were too anal about having a name for everything. These are black bars. Black bars have to always be black bars, right? Peacocks have to always be peacocks. And so that's how everything was done, and we tried to breed it out. We tried to breed the polymorphic out, and that is the greatest part of them. I can tell you, when you look at our website and you see some of the new breeds that we're developing, they all came from the mutt tank, because the mutts have a more genetic mix in. So it's really kind of cool. So the other thing, on the end of a sexual organ of the male of the guppy, they actually have hooks, and they need them because they're essentially raping. So they have hooks. They have 3 hooks, and when it is inserted in before semen comes out, the hooks hold them in. That holds the male into the female, so she can't get away and the male can't get away. But the Endlers didn't need that anymore. As they developed over these 400, 500, 600 years that they were separated, they were isolated, they didn't need that. Females were picking out the males. They were picking out the brightest ones with the most colors, and the males then were breeding and passing their genes on, but they did not need the hooks, and the hooks started to go away. You sometimes see 1 hook, maybe 2 hooks at the end of a male Endlers male organ, but sometimes you cannot even see any. And that's the first of what would have been a lot more changes that would have separated the 2 species. They were not left separated long enough to finish, and chances are they can't finish now. The Endlers that are left in Kumina are at best hybrids. At worst, they're dead. The lagoon's in very bad shape. It's filled with cichlids. There's a military dump that was put close to it. I'm not very hopeful. I do have a guy in Kumina on the ground who can watch things, and he is still finding Endlers in smaller ponds and smaller locations in the floodplain. But in the greater lagoon that they came from initially, there's not a whole lot, and I think most of them are hybrids at this point. So the males do more of a dance than the guppies do, because that's how they had to be seen. Their sexual organ is different. You'll see that female-wise, there's not a lot of difference between female guppies and female Endlers. Of course, genetically there's some, but on the phenotype, there really isn't a whole lot. It would be really hard to know the difference. That is part of the problem that breeders have if you have guppies in your Endler room. You find babies different places, and all of a sudden you got mixes. It's hard. It's very, very, very hard. The other thing that's interesting is that when you take a female guppy and you put them with Endlers, it's a long time before there's babies. Long time. Because the males are showing. Females don't care. They're not looking for that. Once in a while, a male will get it figured out. I mean, they know what they're supposed to do. But also, they're used to showing, and they're used more to being accepted. Guppies, that doesn't work. On the flip side of that, you put female Endlers in with male guppies, and it's a free-for-all, because the females are not used to being chased continually, and they get bred right away. So I think some of the problems that they had at the beginning, when they thought at first, well, they don't breed, they don't get along, they don't work together, I think that's really what the problem was. It certainly is not a problem anymore, and as I mentioned, it's one of the big reasons why you really can't put Endlers and guppies in the same tanks or in the same fish room. They jump, things happen. I don't know what to tell you. That's just really the way it is. As always, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us. If you have any questions, please reach out, put a comment, get on the website. Arc BioRite is our food website. Endler Arc is our fish website. Either one, you can reach Noah, and we can answer your questions. Till next time, keep them swimming.